Hello YouTube, I'm Armoury Reviews 1, or Tom, and this is the Comic Cache with my weekly comic book haul. So I will say, for last week's episode, sorry for the quality of it being a bit lower than normal. I'm trying to work out which is the best bit rate for speed of render and quality. So we'll work on it. Every episode, should get a bit better until I find a sweet spot. So let's see how it goes. So comics quite successful this week. I quite enjoyed it. Got a nice big load of comics and 2 graphic novels. So let's get to it. Transformers Regeneration 1. Actually, I've got to grab something else. Just put that to the side, I'll show that later. I forgot. I've gotten that this week. So yes, Transformers Regeneration 1. Issue 92. Yes. And the cover B again. I'm the only one in my comic shop that orders these, so it is properly luck of the draw for what I get, because if 2 people ordered them, or if there were a lot of people, they'd say, "Oh, can I have cover A or cover B?" Luckily, cover Bs are my favourite. I like the old style on the front. I've been getting quite lucky because the last few of these have been these. So I'll take that out with its packaging. I just love that bit. Properly old style. Nice view of the cover there. So yeah, I'll just quickly show you. That's the alternate covers. I think cover B looks the best, if I'm honest. I don't know who draws cover A. Cover A is Andrew Wildman, does the art, and the colours is Jason Cardy, and Guido Guidi does the cover Bs. I like these. Actually, the retail incentive is quite funny. It's Huffer punching a pretender into the ground. So yes, I enjoyed this a lot. It was, again, like most Regeneration ones, it was just fun. But we saw Spike getting really angry and not really knowing what to do with his anger. He's just trying, at the start, obviously, like you can see there, he's just trying to kill Optimus Prime. As you can see there, and go on, it's quite hard to flick to the page you want. And there, some very funny moments, I will say that, with the humans. There's one panel which I won't spoil. It's quite funny. It's not a story spoiler, but it will make it so it's not that funny when you see it. Because I know most of you pick this up, or at least will in trades later. So we start off with, again, the 2 stories, one on Earth, one on Cybertron. I found they're not as hard to follow now. When I first started, you get the occasional issue where you just don't really know what's going on. It's probably me not having read anything from Generation 1. Just starting on Regen 1. But we'll see how it goes. It's getting better and I'm really, really getting into it now. So there's the 4 bots that we're following in this comic. There is obviously Huffer, Inferno, Silverbolt, and Blaster. Have I got that right? Yes. Blaster. Ratchet's down there. Or is it Prowl? That's Prowl. Whatever. It's hard to see, and they both have a very, very similar head. So, yes, we follow these 4 as there. Everyone's been messed around by the by Scorponok's genetic mutation thing. And here we get something quite funny. We get Silverbolt is flying off into space because he doesn't know what he's doing. We have Skylinks trying to hold him back, which is quite funny. I quite like that. And we find out that the humans are, the ones that are left have this little enclave called Little America. They're rebuilding, but not very fast. And Optimus gives them a proposition where they can move to a planet where there's these beings that have advanced technology, but again have the same sort of problem. And if they work together, the sort of technological advancement of the Nebulons with the stubbornness and the hard-working nature of the humans could work together quite well. But we have Spike not wanting to, because he doesn't want anything to do with Transformers. We also see that it's a bit more complicated on Cybertron than you would first have thought. I won't say why. And just, as always, the art is really, really nice. I like this art over the current main IDW ones. They don't look spiky. The only one I think that really should look spiky is Drift. I don't even think he's in this. And we see Pretenders, which is quite cool. And yeah, it was just really fun and really interesting. We also see Hot Rod and the Dinobots going after Grimlock, because I think he's still alive. And it's very funny. The thing I like about this is that they've made the outlines for the boxes, for the panels, really sketchy looking, just to sort of show how ragtag this team is. The fight scenes are quite funny and quite interesting. Also, tell me if I'm wrong, but are Galvatron and Bludgeon fighting each other? And the Autobot, because it says there that the Autobots are getting caught in the crossfire. And again, as some of it has been hard to follow, I think they're fighting for power. So, which is interesting. I love how both of them look. Both Galvatron and Bludgeon. It's a good issue. I'm thoroughly enjoying Regeneration 1. What was I just saying? This looks interesting. This has been in the back of the last few IDW issues. Wild Blue Yonder. Looks like a steampunk, a sci-fi World War II sort of style thing. Looks awesome. Also there's a monstrosity with Mr. Ramondelli's amazing work. Also Godzilla, I'm sure Dan will love. Good issue. If you see it, pick it up, definitely. You know, I imagine if you're into Transformers, you're probably picking this up anyway. Right, onto the DC. That's all the rest of it. We have Constantine issue 4. Now, I think this does tie into the Trinity War, as Zatanna does mention it in this, which is interesting. Basically, you know, you've got Constantine nearly being tortured, Papa Midnight. I like this version of Midnight. A lot more voodoo looking. He looks really powerful, whereas if you've seen the movie, which I have, he was quite, you know, he's in a purple suit and stuff, which I like, but this looks more like, I like both. He looks more brutal, and the way they portray him in this is a proper, like, mobster. He is torturing and killing people all the time to get what he wants. Although I do like the whole, you know, both type of halflings are allowed in here at the same time, no fighting. I like that kind of civilized Midnight as well, but this is still interesting and I do like this version. Basically, this entire book is just John being really, really sarky and being really funny, and the thing I like about this though is the way he beats his enemies isn't by punching them. You know, he's not a Batman who, actually not a bad example, he's not a Superman who just goes and punches whoever or laser beams them. he's the complete opposite. He beats people by pre-planning or by backstabbing. So he has a turnaround charm, which makes it so if whatever injuries are done to him will be done to whoever did them, which is quite good. I quite like that. And yeah, that's the way he beats them. And Batman's sort of in the middle. He does a bit of both. Again, the artwork's cool. I like the way John looks. Try and find some very, very weird scenes. I enjoyed it. It's good. Again, Constantine is... You've got to like the supernaturally sort of hero. I find that quite interesting. Also the fact that none of the people in this care for all of your normal superheroes. Like, John says that he's never met Batman or Superman, and he never wants to. Which I find quite funny. So, it's good. Again, you need to be into Constantine to like it. Same sort of thing with the next one. Nightwing, issue 21. You need to like Nightwing to pick this up. This doesn't generally tie into Batman that much. So, if you are looking to pick up a Batman book, and you think that a companion book is necessary for you, Batman and Robin is. I've heard Batman Incorporated is sometimes helpful, but not as much, and that's ending soon anyway, so you don't have to worry. But Nightwing isn't. It's just, if you like Nightwing, get it. So, yes, here he is. This entire book is seeing how he escapes Trickster. Or is it Prankster? I keep forgetting. It's only been in the issue. Prankster. Sorry, not Trickster. Which was quite funny. I liked it. The Prankster was quite stupid with what he did. But we see another mask from Chicago called Slip Shift, and he has the ability to pass through walls. We also see a couple others on the news, Ether and Ghostwalker. I'm quite interested to see what happens to them. So we see some really cool shots of Nightwing being awesome. He's crashed through glass like every single issue. We see him fighting without vision, because obviously the white isn't in the eyes, so he can't see. And yeah, there's a really, really funny section in this where... Oh, this is cool. The fight scenes, because he's really acrobatic, they need to show that. And they're always very, very good. Brett Booth is amazing at doing this. Then we see him being extremely sarcastic while eating a donut and drinking like a Starbucks coffee. Nice. That is Nightwing. Oh, and there's the box of donuts. Yep. And he completely gets what he wants, and it's very, very funny. And we do see in like the story, the overall arcing story develop a bit, because we see, if you've been following it, we see who he's going after get a little bit closer. That's all I'll say. Although it is quite cool, we get the nice big shot of him like in every single one. We see him walking around a dark house that he's broken into. He's almost becoming a Batman. He just doesn't have the really small flashlight. Good issue. It was just really funny, and it's a nice break from... I do like serious comics. I really do. But it is nice when you interject a bit of comedy in and make it funny. Because obviously, if you were a superhero and you were seeing these horrible things every day, you'd probably want to have a bit of comedy. So, I can get behind that. I like that. Next one, serious one here. Batman 0 Year, issue 21. Now, the thing I like about this, because it's like a special issue, it actually has an embossed cover. Like, that is raised, and so is that bit, which is really nice. Now, I don't really want to give too much away in this. I really don't, because I want you to experience this yourself. From reading this, it doesn't rewrite Batman Year 1 at all. It really doesn't. We see a bit of Bruce Wayne, a lot of actually, and we see the Red Hood gang back from Batman issue 0. We see Bruce getting out of some sticky situations without many clever gadgets. We see a nice image there. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Reminds me of Judge Dredd with a sensor. And it's funny, but it's very, very serious, and you see how Bruce Wayne starts to think, and how he is completely focused on being Batman. Yeah, it's really interesting. I will say that, actually no, I won't. We get a new villain introduced, or an old villain, but we get a really cool villain introduced, and he's changed a bit. Really, like, I don't want to spoil this, because if there's the two that I think you need to buy, this one and the one I'll talk about next. But all I'll say is the villain they introduce, so obviously he's not a completely new one, but I really like the new take on him. It's really, really, really interesting. I will say we see Wayne Enterprises being sort of shifted around and manipulated, which is nice because all of the villains really so far in the New 52, the New 52 have gone after Batman, you know, in a physical way. We haven't really seen a villain try to take over his empire, which is quite interesting. I like that. We see some interesting bits. We see a bit of Bruce's childhood, which is really nice to see. Because obviously the only time we really see him as a child is when his parents are killed. And it's really nice to see him and his dad, and how they got on, and that they actually did. You know, it's not like Tony and Howard Stark. It's definitely not that. And it's not like in the Iron Man 2, the movie, when you see him, he's only now getting just short because he realised how much Howard actually cared for him. You know, we see that they had a really good relationship, although Thomas Wayne was still a busy man. He was still a businessman, and he did have to leave Bruce, which is not nice, really, but we do see them properly being together, which is really interesting, I find. We also get an epilogue, which is really cool, of Bruce taking down a criminal in a way that you wouldn't suspect. He basically serves it up on a silver platter to the police, which is very funny. So yes, seriously, this is amazing. It gives a real insight into who Batman and Bruce Wayne are, without rewriting it, which I think Scott Snyder is amazing for doing. He hasn't just rewritten Batman Year 1 with a different villain. He's adding stuff to the mythos that is amazing. So, even if you're not reading Batman now, this and like the next issue, so I think it looks like it's going to continue on because it said part 1, is worth being in your collection. I imagine this will come out as a trade though. So if you're not collecting it now, well, the Death of the Family trade I think is out now. If it's not, it'll be out soon. And obviously then, once that's out, it won't be long until the next arc is out. So I'd wait for that actually, if you're not collecting it now, but seriously, it is good. Next, we have Superman Unchained, issue 1. Oh, this is good. Right, yes, so basically it's Superman, but with those two names. That's, you know, it's a dream come true, basically. An amazing front cover. This was more expensive, this was like £4, but I'll show you why. Basically, we see something weird. We see this at the very start, which we find a little bit more about in the end, but not much. Although we actually find out that that's Nagasaki, but that it isn't a nuclear bomb. That is what is in the bomb, which is interesting. And then we see Superman being a bit philosophical, talking about himself and about the world, flying into a space station, and then we get Jim Lee's best idea ever, which is to make one page the next panel be that big. So the reason is if you were to have this on a normal page, you wouldn't see Superman, because he's there and he's doing that much damage to it. He's hitting it like a bullet. And I just think that is such a good idea. But then he thought, on the other side, why not show how strong Superman is with a massive close-up? Which is awesome. But this is actually a panel, look, you can see the writing there. Although they have made it, as you can see by that white strip, so you can easily take it out and have it as a poster, which I may or may not do, haven't decided yet. I think the sticky stuff might be sticky enough to put it back in, but I might not take it out. But anyway, yeah, so, you know, they're trying something completely new with this. We also see, you know, we see him saving people, and basically that's it for the most part. We see him saving people. We also then see him find Lex Luthor, because he thinks he's the one that's been dropping these satellites out of the sky and almost into people. We then find that Lex has this idea for a new tower that supplies solar energy and all that sort of stuff. We see Jimmy being quite funny. I quite enjoyed Jimmy's lines in this. He really plays a foil too. Actually, both him and Lois play a foil to Clark in different ways, because Clark is generally in the middle. You know, Jimmy is completely not serious. Everything is either a joke or can be turned into a joke to him, at least in this version. And Lois is completely serious all of the time, and Clark's in the middle. He's a foil to Lois because he can be silly sometimes and have fun, and he's a foil to Jimmy because he can be serious. So I find that quite interesting. We see Lois there, and she's talking to Clark, telling him that he's slipping because Clark's report said there were only 7. Yes, that Superman stopped 7 of the 8 satellites hitting the Earth, or hitting people, but apparently he stopped all 8, so Clark says, I'm slipping. He's going to check out why, so we get some cool underwater shots. I like how the laser eyes sort of evaporate the water. And then we find that it's actually General Lane. And he has a super weapon in the form of what looks to be like a bizarro Superman or an anti-Superman or something like that, because he has the same sort of belt shape, he has a logo there, the laser eyes, the same sort of shape suit, and I don't know how it's, like, if it's an alien or if it's made, and I'm really interested to find out. It was just a really interesting story, and it was really fun as well, that's the point. It was a ride. It was really interesting to find out all these little things and try to piece it together, and then find out that it's actually quite a larger conspiracy than we thought. Something also quite nice is that at the end of it, they included, well, I think that's the I think that could be the variant cover by Brett Booth, but I'm not too sure. But they add an interview with Jim Lee and Scott Snyder in the back, which is awesome. Which I think that is Jim Lee's drawing. Get a lot of interview, which I am loving, basically. Get 0 year. So yes, it was really cool, and we see all the characters we want. I do really like this. Really like this. You know, it's Superman but with Scott Snyder and Jim Lee. That's all I have to say. I will also quickly add, before my battery runs out, that I got Superman Earth 1. I will read soon. Oh, damn it, sorry. Batman and Robin, Batman vs Robin. This is volume 2 of the Grant Morrison Batman and Robin run. I have volume 1 sitting on a shelf. I also have Transformers RID volume 1. And I'll be reading all of these soon. So yes, thank you for watching. I've been Armoury Reviews 1, or Tom. Please buy whichever ones of those I've convinced you to, and comment your stacks for this week. I have been Armoury Reviews 1 again. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.